Hi there. My name is. Oh, is that? You can't hear me? Oh, sorry. Here, let me come a bit closer to the camera. What was I talking about? Right, introductions. My name is Carl Enzo P. Galvez. You can call me Carl or Enzo, whichever you prefer. I'm a first year college student currently studying IT. And today I'm going to talk about ethical hacking and penetration testing. Though I'm only going to tackle the basics and won't go that much into detail for both my sake and my sanity. Hacking. If you're watching this video, then you probably already got a grasp of what hacking is. We are in the digital age after all. I know this, they know this, and you know this. Heck, even my grandma knows what hacking is. Simply put, hacking refers to gaining unauthorized access to computer systems, networks, or data by exploiting vulnerabilities in software or hardware to manipulate or bypass security measures. But what about ethical hacking? From the word ethical itself, you can already infer what ethical hacking is. It is using hacking for a good cause. Ethical hackers, also known as white hat hackers, harness their skills to identify vulnerabilities and strengthen the security of systems, networks, and applications. Instead of using their knowledge for malicious purposes, they work alongside organizations to enhance their cybersecurity defenses and protect against cyber threats. Ethical hacking is being like the digital Sherlock Holmes, searching for clues and solving mysteries to prevent cybercrime and safeguard digital assets. It requires a deep understanding of computer systems and networks, as well as a strong sense of ethics and responsibility. Now, let's delve into the basics of ethical hacking and explore its various types. Ethical hacking involves several key principles and practices. Number 1. Permission. Ethical hackers must obtain authorization from the system owner before conducting security assessments or penetration testing. Number 2. Intent. The primary goal of ethical hacking is to identify vulnerabilities and improve security rather than causing harm or disruption. Number 3. Legal and ethical guidelines. Ethical hackers must adhere to legal and ethical standards, respecting privacy, confidentiality, and the integrity of systems and data. Number 4. Continuous learning. Ethical hacking requires staying updated on the latest security trends, technologies, and attack techniques to effectively identify and mitigate threats. Types of ethical hacking. Number 1. Network security testing. It involves assessing the security of networks including routers, switches, firewalls, and other network devices to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Number 2. Web application testing. It focuses on evaluating the security of web applications such as websites and web services to identify vulnerabilities such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting otherwise known as XSS, and insecure authentication mechanisms. Number 3. Wireless Security Assessment. It involves assessing the security of wireless networks, including Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, to identify vulnerabilities such as weak encryption, unauthorized access points, and rogue devices. Number 4. Social engineering testing. It focuses on manipulating people into divulging sensitive information or performing actions that compromise security, such as phishing attacks, pretexting, and baiting. Each type of ethical hacking requires specialized skills, tools, and techniques to effectively identify and mitigate security risks. By combining these approaches, ethical hackers can provide comprehensive security assessments and help organizations improve their overall cybersecurity posture. Emerging trends and technologies. Number 1. Internet of Things, otherwise known as IoT security. As IoT devices become more prevalent in homes, businesses, and industrial environments, ensuring the security of IoT's ecosystem is a growing concern. Ethical hackers may focus on assessing the security of IoT devices, protocols, and ecosystems to identify vulnerabilities and recommend security controls to mitigate risks. Number 2. Cloud security. The adoption of cloud computing technology presents new challenges for securing data and applications in the cloud. Ethical hackers may specialize in assessing the security of cloud environments, including cloud infrastructure, platform as a service, otherwise known as PaaS, offerings, and software as a service, otherwise known as SaaS applications, to identify vulnerabilities and recommend security best practices. Number 3. Artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI, and machine learning, otherwise known as ML security. AI and ML technologies are increasingly being used to automate security operations, detect threats, and enhance cyber defense capabilities. Ethical hackers may explore the security applications of AI and ML technologies to include the potential for adversarial attacks, data poisoning, and model manipulation to identify risks and recommend security controls to mitigate threats. Penetration. If you're a young man like me, then you know the meaning of the word penetration. Where did I learn it? Through games, of course. Armor penetration and stuff like that. What? Did you think I was gonna say porn? Penetration means to pierce or breach an obstruction or wall, like an arrow piercing through armor or a gun shooting through walls. Similarly, our computers have something similar that can be penetrated. For example, our security systems, which are often depicted as a shield, or our firewall, which is, well, a wall. But here's the twist. Penetration testing isn't about breaking things for the sake of it. It's about breaking things to make them stronger, like muscles. What is penetration testing? Penetration testing, or pen testing, is like sending in a team of cyber commandos to breach your own defenses. It's a simulated cyber attack on a computer system, network, or web application to evaluate its security. Unlike other forms of security testing that focus on identifying vulnerabilities and weaknesses, penetration testing goes a step further by attempting to actively exploit these vulnerabilities to assess the potential impact on an organization's security posture. Why is penetration testing important? Penetration testing is crucial for several reasons. Number 1. Identifying vulnerabilities. It helps organizations uncover security weaknesses before malicious hackers can exploit them. Number 2. Assessing security posture. By simulating real-world attacks, it provides insights into an organization's security strengths and weaknesses. Number 3. Improving defenses. Penetration testing helps organizations prioritize and address security vulnerabilities, strengthening their defenses against cyber threats. Phases of penetration testing. Penetration testing typically consists of several phases. Number 1. Planning and reconnaissance. During the planning and reconnaissance phase, the penetration testing team defines the scope, objectives, and methodology of the assessment. This involves understanding the organization's business goals, identifying the target systems, networks, and applications to be tested, and obtaining proper authorization from stakeholders. The team conducts thorough research to gather information about the target environment, including network topology, system architecture, IP addresses, domain names, and employee roles and responsibilities. This information is essential for developing a tailored testing strategy and identifying potential attack vectors. Number 2. Scanning. In the scanning phase, the penetration testing team uses automated scanning tools and manual techniques to identify open ports, services, and potential vulnerabilities in the target environment. This involves conducting port scans, service enumeration, and vulnerability assessments to identify weaknesses that could be exploited by attackers. The team analyzes the results of the scan to prioritize vulnerabilities based on their severity, exploitability, and potential impact on the organization's security posture. This phase lays the foundation for subsequent exploitation and testing activities. Number 3. Gaining access. The exploitation phase involves exploiting vulnerabilities identified during the scanning phase to gain unauthorized access to the target system, network, or application. This may include exploiting misconfigurations, software bugs, or weak authentication mechanisms to gain a foothold in the target environment. The penetration testing team uses a variety of techniques such as password cracking, SQL injection, and buffer overflow attacks to bypass security controls and escalate privileges. Successful exploitation allows the team to demonstrate the impact of vulnerabilities and the potential consequences of a real-world cyber attack. Number 4. Maintaining access. Once access has been gained, the penetration testing team focuses on maintaining persistence and control over the target environment. This involves establishing backdoors, creating user accounts, and installing remote access tools to maintain access to the system even after the initial exploitation phase is complete. By maintaining access, the team can demonstrate the ability to exfiltrate sensitive data, manipulate system configurations, and launch further attacks within the target environment. This phase highlights the importance of ongoing monitoring and detection to identify and mitigate unauthorized access attempts. Number 5. Analysis and reporting. The final phase of penetration testing involves analyzing the findings of the assessment and preparing a detailed report for the organization and stakeholders. This includes documenting the vulnerabilities discovered, assessing the risks and impact on the organization's security posture, and providing recommendations for remediation. The penetration testing team prioritizes vulnerabilities based on their severity, likelihood of exploitation, and potential business impact, allowing the organization to focus resources on addressing the most critical security risks. The report also includes actionable recommendations and best practices for improving the organization's security defenses, enhancing incident response capabilities, and mitigating future cyber threats. This phase concludes the penetration testing engagement and provides valuable insight for improving the organization's overall cybersecurity posture. Tools and techniques. Penetration testers use a variety of tools and techniques to identify and exploit vulnerabilities, including Number 1. Vulnerability scanners. Vulnerability scanners are essential tools used by penetration testers to automate the process of identifying security weaknesses in target systems, networks, and applications. These tools scan the target environment for known vulnerabilities, misconfiguration, and outdated software versions that could be exploited by attackers. Vulnerability scanners generate comprehensive reports detailing the identified vulnerabilities, including their severity, impact, and recommended remediation steps. Popular vulnerability scanning tools include Nessus, OpenBAS, Qualys, and Nexpose. Number 2. Exploitation Frameworks. Exploitation frameworks are powerful platforms used by penetration testers to launch and manage attacks against target systems. These frameworks provide a wide range of exploits, payloads, and post-exploitation modules that allows testers to exploit vulnerabilities and gain unauthorized access to target systems. Exploitation frameworks streamline the process of conducting sophisticated attacks by providing pre-built exploits for common vulnerabilities and automated exploitation techniques. Popular exploitation frameworks include Metasploit, Cobalt Strike, Empire, and Canvas. Number 3. Password cracking tools. Password cracking tools are used by penetration testers to crack password and gain unauthorized access to target systems, accounts, and resources. These tools employ various techniques such as brute force attacks, dictionary attacks, and rainbow table attacks to guess or crack password based on their strength and complexity. Password cracking tools can be used to assess the security of password policies, identify weak or easily guessable passwords, and highlight the importance of using strong, complex passwords to protect sensitive information. Popular password cracking tools include John the Ripper, Hashcat, Hydra, and Cain and Abel. Number 4. Social Engineering. Social engineering is a technique used by penetration testers to manipulate people into divulging sensitive information or performing actions that compromise security. This may involve impersonating trusted individuals such as employees or IT staff and exploiting their trust to gain access to restricted areas or sensitive information. Social engineering attacks can take various forms, including phishing emails, pretexting phone calls, and physical infiltration attempts. Penetration testers use social engineering techniques to assess the effectiveness of security awareness training programs, identifying vulnerabilities in organization policies and procedures, and raise awareness about the importance of vigilance and skepticism when interacting with unknown or suspicious requests. Advanced penetration testing methodologies. Number 1. Black box testing. In black box testing, the penetration tester has no prior knowledge of the target system or network. This simulates an attacker with no insider information, allowing for a realistic assessment of external threats. Testers rely solely on publicly available information and techniques to identify vulnerabilities and exploit them. Number 2. White box testing. In contrast to black box testing, white box testing involves full knowledge of the target system, including source code, architecture, and network infrastructure. This approach allows for a comprehensive analysis of internal vulnerabilities and potential attack vectors. White box testing is often conducted by internal security teams or developers to assess the security posture of critical systems. Number 3. Gray box testing. Gray box testing combines elements of both black box and white box testing. Testers have partial knowledge of the target systems, such as access credentials or limited documentation. This approach strikes a balance between realism and a depth of analysis, providing insight into both external and internal vulnerabilities. Advanced penetration testing techniques. Number 1. Fuzzing. Fuzzing involves sending large volumes of random or unexpected data inputs to a target application or network protocol to identify software bugs and vulnerabilities. Ethical hackers may use fuzzing techniques to discover unknown vulnerabilities that could be exploited by attackers. Number 2. Zero-day exploitation. Zero-day exploitation refers to vulnerabilities that are unknown to the vendor or have not yet been patched. Ethical hackers may develop or discover zero-day exploits to assess the effectiveness of security controls and highlight the importance of timely patch management. Number 3. Privilege escalation. Privilege escalation techniques involve elevating user privileges or gaining unauthorized access to sensitive resources on a target system. Ethical hackers may exploit misconfigurations, vulnerabilities, or weak authentication mechanisms to escalate privileges and demonstrate the impact of inadequate access controls. Real-world applications of penetration testing. Number 1. Red Team exercises. Red Team exercises simulate realistic cyber attacks against an organization's systems, networks, and personnel to test their resilience and response capabilities. Ethical hackers, acting as the Red Team, attempt to breach defenses and achieve specific objectives, such as exfiltrating sensitive data or disrupting critical services. Number 2. Compliance audits. Penetration testing is often mandated by regulatory standards and industry frameworks, such as PCI DSS, HIPAA, and ISO 27001, to assess compliance with security requirements and ensure the protection of sensitive information. Ethical hackers conduct penetration tests to identify gaps in security controls and address non-compliance issues. Number 3. Incident Response Preparedness. Penetration testing can help organizations evaluate their incident response procedures and readiness to detect, contain, and mitigate cyber threats. By simulating real-world attack scenarios, ethical hackers provide valuable insights into the effectiveness of incident response plans and the coordination of security teams during crisis situations. By expanding our understanding of penetration testing methodologies, techniques, and applications, we can better appreciate its role in strengthening cybersecurity defenses and mitigating cyber risks in today's digital landscape. Ethical and legal considerations. Like ethical hacking, penetration testing must be conducted responsibly and ethically. Testers must obtain proper authorization before conducting assessments and adhere to legal and ethical guidelines to avoid causing harm or legal repercussions. So the next time you hear about penetration testing, remember, it's not about breaking things just for the thrill. It's about strengthening our digital fortresses and keeping the bad guys at bay. Ethical hacking is a dynamic and evolving field that requires continuous learning, exploration, and adaptation to keep pace with emerging threats and technologies. By staying informed about the latest trends, techniques, and best practices in ethical hacking, cybersecurity professionals can effectively assess and mitigate security risks, protect sensitive information, and safeguard digital assets against cyber threats. Ethical hacking is not a static field. It thrives on curiosity, adaptability, and continuous improvement. Cybersecurity professionals who embrace these principles contribute significantly to a safer digital world. Hey, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching the entirety of the video with or without getting bored. I hope you've learned something from this video, and if you didn't, well, that sucks. To be honest, I made this video for our midterms, and it was quite a struggle. It was my first time making this kind of video after all, and it was also my first time editing, so I had to learn to do that too. Nevertheless, it was quite satisfying completing the video I've worked on. I've also learned how to edit a little bit now, so that's a plus, I guess. Also, Sorry if you kept hearing my lips smacking all the time. I had to record my voice only using my phone, so I had to get real close and personal to it. Keep exploring and keep learning. Until next time, this is Carl Enzo P. Galvez signing off. Peace out.